mean, here's the thing, right? Like, I'm not gonna deny that I dropped my fair share of hard R's back then.
Are you talking like N-word hard R?
What? No.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that's how people use that term.
No.
Look, Chad, I know we've watched some absolutely terrible videos on this channel throughout the years, but believe me when I say this is quite possibly in the top 5 worst of Fratanga Plays featured playlist. And there's so much to talk about this week, I don't really know how I'm gonna cover it alongside my Fratanga Taps channel, which is the wrestling channel, and if you're interested, go subscribe to that. I mean, we got Jim Sterling celebrating that Hogwarts Legacy didn't get a nomination at the award show. That's clearly ultra woke. We got people trying to debunk the Xbox tax narrative only to accidentally convince everyone it's real.
We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
And we got people defending The Last of Us Remastered.
The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is a great idea.
Because this
is PS I Love You XOXO.
Be gone from me, you soy boy.
But when it comes to the level of shilling for a PlayStation product, I don't think I have seen it any harder than the PS Portal. The internet wants to convince me that this thing is worth $200, and it's absolutely insane. Now, LinusTechTips is no stranger to shilling when it comes to products handed to him by hardware companies. That is a fact. And I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like Nexus Gamers didn't absolutely obliterate LinusTechTips earlier this year. So I'm not gonna hold back on pasty, scrawny little LinusTechTips who looks like he can barely hold up a PS Portal.
Look at your little birdie arms. They're no thicker than a cigarette. I could smoke them little arms.
Well, thank God for you, Frit, because Griffin and Alex let us down today. They released some mid that was dead in the water. What would you rather do, sit and listen to these guys read Steam reviews of Starfield? Or would you rather see LinusTechTips dragged through the mud? The choice is obvious.
If you were expecting me to jump on the hate bandwagon for this thing, you're gonna end up sorely disappointed.
Only 7,000 dislikes? You're right, I am disappointed. You recommend the thing and you only got 7,000 dislikes? My God, YouTube is the place where people are so quick to forgive and forget, isn't it? I mean, the man was just caught red-handed by Nexus Gamers and exposed hard this year. They said they'd do better and change, and we're right back to shilling. See, most people find going against the grain to be admirable, where I view those things as attention-seeking. Look at me, I'm special. I think the PS Portal shouldn't be hated. Wow, you are so brave for having a different opinion. Let's worship you for that. It's crazy because I've seen LinusTechTips go way harder on tech that was actually good. Here he's about to bat for the PS Portal like no other device before.
I do have problems with the PlayStation Portal, but I've been a believer in remote game streaming for as long as some of you have been alive, starting with the Nvidia Shield. No, not that one. The handheld one that everyone, including Nvidia, seems to have forgotten about.
And it's crazy to think that little remote play device right there is still more advanced than the PS Portal. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. The fact that you can do more on this device right now than the PS Portal is insane.
I played Tomb Raider 2013, start to finish on that thing, infant son in lap, without ever touching my keyboard and mouse. It was my portal to gaming at a time when I otherwise couldn't make time for it. So, look, if you're not psyched for this thing, I get it. But I am.
Really? Is that the script Sony handed you, Linus? Are those the notes they left behind? Pathetic. I would have emailed them back and said, I'm not saying that. But as we know, when it comes to Linus, if the check clears, Linus will sell people the worst of electronic devices. I mean, just look at the way he's talking about it. He couldn't even pretend to be hyped for it. There's no soul in this man's eyes. Hell, I guarantee you like 90% of the tech he receives, those 16 minutes will be the only 16 minutes in his entire life he ever spends touching the tablet. After that, he'll probably forget it even exists until somebody brings it up for a video. Easy, Frit. Now, you can't just go around accusing this guy of taking money for products. I mean, think twice about what you're saying. You're right. Maybe I should consider the possibility Linus really does like this device, but if he does, it would be very inconsistent with how he treats other devices. So I'll let you guys be the judge of that, but I'll just say it it doesn't help that YouTube asked me if I would buy the PS Portal after watching Linus' video. Someone out there wants that information from his video. I wonder who?
We're still completely set up and ready to game in just 3.5 minutes. That's not bad. Now let's see how fast we can segue to our sponsor.
Ugreen.
Get this goddamn soy jack off my screen. Linus tends to hire people who look like they couldn't beat him up. Guessing that's how he got away with treating them like trash for so long. Not being the only scrawny man in the room helps. Believe it or not, this isn't the first or the last ad we're going to see throughout this video. At this point, you may as well change the channel name to Linus Product Placement Tips. The only person I can think of that can keep up that product placement like Linus is Jeff Keighley in his award show.
I'm definitely picking up on a little bit of a delay, but Hollow Knight's a pretty unforgiving game as far as that goes, and this is not bad.
What? I don't want any delay in Hollow Knight. What are you do you play games, Linus? At no point do you want a single bit of lag in a game like Hollow Knight. And on top of that, why would anybody go out of their way to spend $200 to stream Hollow Knight when they can play it natively on their phone? No, seriously, the Android version of Hollow Knight is not only a cheaper solution, but a more efficient solution. Whoever actually plays Hollow Knight like this should be charged with crimes against humanity. So I don't know how Linus could really sit there faking his smile, giving you a thumbs up and telling you, yeah, this is the most impractical and expensive way to play Hollow Knight. Isn't that great? I'm hyped.
What are we looking at?
150 milliseconds.
150 milliseconds, and that is complete chain?
Yes.
That is very usable.
Notice how he uses the word usable. Not great, not good, not acceptable, usable. I mean, yeah, I guess 150 milliseconds is usable, but if we're talking about for video games, I don't think so. Maybe strategy games, maybe puzzle games, but anything that requires a reaction, hell no. And keep in mind, he's getting that level of latency with the best internet you can purchase on the planet. So even if you did have the money, your experience is still going to be trash.
There's definitely some banding and blocking, particularly when things get really busy on screen and you've got smoke or lots of particle effects flying around.
Which are hiccups you don't want in a game like Hollow Knight, but whatever.
Very usable.
Yeah, well, for $200, people don't want it to be usable under the right circumstances. People want it to be efficient and practical, which this is not.
Don't judge the Portal based on how I'm doing right now. I have only played like an hour and a bit of this game, and this save is much deeper in than I thought.
Believe me, Linus, it is not your gameplay. That is the latency.
Visually, this is a super busy game with really lush environments. I am expecting it to be, a lot less visual artifacty than I was expecting. Once again, particle effects and smoke, gonna be a bit of a struggle, but anything reasonably close to you doesn't look bad at all.
Now, go fight like 5 robot dinosaurs with particles going off everywhere and tell me how it runs.
There's no question the game is playable.
No question the game is playable.
Horizon Forbidden West at 150 millisecond latency? Are you out of your mind, Linus? I bet you anything he literally only booted the game up for 5 minutes just for that captured footage.
Does it have a performance mode though? Favorite performance. Let's see how that feels. Oh yeah, that's more like it. This is 100% how I would play this.
What difference is that gonna make? If you have 150 millisecond latency, 60 FPS ain't going to be anywhere near as enjoyable as you think. It's like for a second, Linus forgot he's playing on a streaming tablet. This thing you're doing here, spinning her around in a non-populated area where nothing is going on, and then telling people it's completely playable, is not properly representing the overall performance. If you had slight hiccups, even in Hollow Knight, just imagine how it would get in Horizon Forbidden West if you were actually doing combat, which you're not here. Don't buy into this, viewers of Linus. This is some lazy-ass work.
Woo! Man, this one looks particularly okay. Maybe it helps that it's at night. Definitely managing to notice some visual anomalies with all these bright lights moving around on screen, kind of like confetti when you're running at a low bitrate. But the truth is, if I was just playing the game and not busy trying to evaluate the device, there's nothing about the visuals or the sound that would make me go, oh, this sucks, forget it.
So at times, the graphics look like complete confetti, like you said. The game has stutters, latency issues, artifacting, and ghosting, and that doesn't make you want to put it down once? I highly doubt that. I mean, just look how close you're sitting to your PS5, and look where your PS5 controller is. Any sane person would put down the Portal and just switch on the TV. That makes no sense. On my monitor right now, I could see the stuttering that was happening.
The DualSense is far and away my favorite PlayStation controller ever, and probably the best first-party design on the market right now. And the only thing that's really missing is the touchpad. Now, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. The on-screen replacement for this kind of sucks.
Excuse me, I didn't catch that. I said.
Kind of sucks.
Well, why are you whispering that? Say it out loud for all of us to hear. Come on. There's no need to lower your volume. Who's listening, Linus?
I'm hoping that it can be fixed in software, and I'm pretty confident Sony's gonna get this figured out.
Wow. This is not a well thought out device at all, is it?
What they can't fix in software is that the sticks are measurably smaller. But it's the kind of thing that I didn't notice until I went looking for it, and makes sense when you consider that this is a device that's likely to be stuffed into your backpack. Say, maybe in this handy little screen-safe spot right here.
Hey, look, another product placement! Woohoo, yeah! That's exactly what I love. A product every single 3 seconds from Linus. No, I'm not buying your stupid backpack. $249 for the backpack. Are you out of your mind? Buy a $249 LinusTechTips bag to put your $200 tablet in that you can't actually play on the go. Isn't it? Oh my God. Oh, Jesus Christ, I just... The shamelessness in all of it is what really throws me off. Who are these videos for exactly? Either way, the smaller thumbsticks is a hard no-sell for me. You make those things any smaller than what they are right now, and it's practically unusable for someone like me. Hard pass. There's a reason I gave up my Switch.
Even with the angle of the screen, I think it's fair to say that this is...
Stop! Stop putting soy on my screen! Get this abomination off of my screen! It looks like the type of dude that enjoys Mary Jane missions in Spider-Man. You remember back then when hardware was presented, they brought out people like The Rock? Remember when The Rock came out to present the Xbox? You're like, yeah, that's badass. Now they bring out guys who look like they write for Disney.
I think it's fair to say that this is one of the most comfortable handheld gaming devices that we have ever seen.
Excuse me? One of the most comfortable handheld devices we have ever seen. If that ain't overselling the product and a clear sign of some sort of check being cleared, I don't know what else is. Touchscreen features look incredibly uncomfortable to use on this thing. It's got no kickstand, no way of separating the screen from the controllers so you can position it differently. It's got one single form. Not being able to detach the tablet from the controllers to position the system however you want is a huge missed opportunity.
It's not light. At 529 grams, it is noticeably heavier than its nearest competitor, the Logitech G Cloud, and it even weighs more than some full-blown handheld consoles, notably the Switch OLED.
How? How does that happen? It's literally got less under the hood than any of these devices. It's capable of doing far less, and it weighs more? It's not as ergonomic, or for that matter, as attractive to the human eye as these other devices, or anywhere near as complex, and it still manages to weigh more with less moving parts. I don't know how they did that. The Logitech G Cloud has 12 hours of battery life versus the pitiful 4 hours that the PS Portal does, and it's lighter. Again, I don't know.
But it puts the user in a much wider, more ergonomic posture that, in my opinion, mostly offsets the weight, even during longer play sessions.
Really? Your scrawny little soy twig arms can't hold this thing up for at least 4 hours? Oh my God.
But the real killer feature of the portal is the price. Okay, look.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
Somebody please remind LinusTechTips what a feature actually is, okay? Because you almost had me there. You almost convinced me this thing actually had a unique feature the other devices don't, but it doesn't. It doesn't have a single unique feature. Price is not a feature. What is going on at Linus Tech Media? How much of their scripts are actually written by them? He's trying his absolute hardest to bat for this little device, but all he's done is exposed how trash it is. I don't know if that was accidental or intentional.
I know you could just throw your phone in a backbone and game on that at a fraction of the cost, but
a fraction of the cost? No, you could do it for no additional cost whatsoever.
look, hear me out, guys, okay? You get a first-party grade controller with adaptive triggers and haptic feedback.
What, are there tablets that don't come with a built-in controller? Because I can't name you one. Obviously, it comes with a controller. How else is it gonna be used? This is not a benefit of buying the thing. Oh, how generous of PlayStation. They included controls on my tablet.
You get a decent 8-inch screen.
What, do we have tablets that don't come with screens too now? How generous of Sony to throw in a tablet screen. Thank you, Sony.
You get a battery. You get a battery.
A battery! You get a battery with your electronic device, you guys! Consider everything Sony has put into this thing. You hear that, kid in the cobalt mine? Your sacrifice was not in vain. Your hard work went into the PS Portal. Are you pulling one on us? Are you trolling us? Next thing you know, he's gonna tell you, hey, it comes with electricity too. The worst part is he's doing that thing he always does, where he tries to compile how expensive it would be to build an equivalent, shopping for the parts online. Well, no one's going to go out of the way to build something like this. This is not listing off the merits of this device. I don't know what point Linus was trying to accomplish here.
Speakers, Wi-Fi, packaging and shipping. Packaging and shipping?
No, I will not bow to any sponsor.
Packaging and shipping. Packaging and shipping. It's now a unique feature of the PS Portal, ladies and gentlemen. It just adds so much value. The cardboard adds so much value. I cannot believe Linus legitimately slapped this video together. This is unbelievable.
A processor with accelerated video decode and some RAM and storage, obviously.
Yeah, don't forget to mention that's not usable storage, Linus. You can't download anything on this. You can't save anything on it. It's not the type of internal storage people think of. Whatever's on it is solely for the OS. And they didn't throw no impressive processor in there by any means either. All they put in there was a Qualcomm SG4150P chip, which is basically just good enough to run the device, which relies completely on streaming. Obviously, they put the operating system on something, but it ain't the type of storage you're talking about.
This appears to be a Snapdragon 662 from early reports, but we don't have pricing for that, so let's use a Raspberry Pi Zero as a price proxy.
You mean for $15, that Raspberry Pi 2.0 actually comes with USB ports, which the PS Portal doesn't? Oh my God.
You'll need an operating system that probably needed to be developed at some point, and somewhere in there, you've got to find some margin for Sony's retail partners and, God willing, Sony themselves.
Wow, Linus, you sold me so well on the PS Portal. Look, guys, this isn't something you can simply build. Yeah, no, you don't say. Am I really supposed to be convinced to purchase this because Sony made it for $200? The thing has no internal storage, no Bluetooth support, is using Wi-Fi 5, not 6, and has 4 hours of battery life. And you want me to be impressed? For $50 more, people can just go buy a Switch and actually have access to native games. This is not how you sell people on anything. I don't understand the logic. It's like Linus really had to reach to point out the merits of this thing. And all he could point to was, well, it's cheap. When the only benefit you can point to is the manufacturing cost, then you truly don't have anything positive to say. The craziest part is that look in his eye gives it away. He knows he has nothing to sell you on about this device, and yet there isn't a single ounce of guilt.
So, look, I know $200 is a lot to ask for an accessory to a $500 device. But you know what else is $200? The DualSense Edge. And that's just a controller. So if we're not outraged about that, I don't see why we have a problem with this.
You guys, other devices are overpriced, so why are you complaining? What? Is that seriously the logic that's being applied here right now? From a tech website? Well, guys, you know, why is the PS Portal not okay when other overpriced ripoff exists? Is that what you told yourself when you started selling people an overpriced $600 bag? I don't know where you come off saying nobody was complaining about the $200 DualSense Edge price, all right? Because they were. I was there. I remember. This happens every time Microsoft and Xbox release overpriced controllers. And in this case, they're releasing an overpriced wannabe tablet. You don't really have a justification for the Portal. Its usage is so niche and obscure and underpowered and overpriced. It's a bad product, plain and simple. The functionality of this device at its price point is unacceptable.
And I get it. This product might not speak to you, and that's fine. But I think attacking its price is a poor use of our finite anger energy, especially when there are other places we could direct it that are much more valid.
Like, you and what you got caught doing? You want me to remember what you did? You want me to turn all of my anger and frustration back on you? Because I will, Linus. You should be thankful. The PS Portal is what I'm more pissed off at right now. For the sake of not making this a 40+ minute long video, let's just quickly run down the rest of LinusTechTips' video. He does at the very least point out the flaws of the device: no Bluetooth, low battery life, limited by Wi-Fi 5, no built-in internet browser to connect to public Wi-Fi. Now there's plenty of flaws he points out, but what really matters is his overall thoughts at the end, which, after stating all of the glaring flaws, is...
I feel like the simplicity is one of the Portal's greatest strengths. I mean, I've made my issues with it clear at this point, but I feel like it's a lot like the PSVR 2. It's great tech at a fair price. The Portal gives more value to the console you already own, value that I would argue is well worth the cost of admission.
No, these are two vastly different devices. The simplicity of the Portal is obviously what's holding it back. When the phone in your pocket can accomplish more, you can't justify comparing it to something like VR, which is of course exactly why you link down below where to buy it. Interesting. I mean, you heard him, guys. $200 is well worth it to do exactly what you can do with what's in your pocket right now. A $200 accessory to your PS5 like this? No, absolutely not. If the device was $100 or $80, okay, then maybe we can negotiate, but $200 is asking for too much. It is not worth the price of admission. I have absolutely no idea why LinusTechTips is batting so hard for this device, when years ago it's the type of thing he would have shat on in multiple videos.
What's not complicated is where you can go to buy one. We're gonna have links to where to buy the PlayStation Portal, and also a link to our sponsor.
Ugreen. Black Friday.
Oh, and of course, it wouldn't be a LinusTechTips video without closing it off with yet another product placement. How many is that this video? 4? I'm honestly surprised this video has not caught wind with other YouTubers yet. It's atrocious. But believe it or not, I was told by Alex that there's actually even worse PlayStation Portal videos capping for the device. You know, I'm told there's no Xbox tax, but let's face it, if that product was released by Microsoft, it would not be getting the praise or defense or scores it's receiving. I have never seen so much praise for a paperweight, and not a single person batting for this thing has been able to actually point out anything beneficial about it. Seriously, every single review I've seen or read is nothing but criticisms of everything the system is lacking, and they all finish it off by saying, but I recommend you buy it, or they do something like give it an 8 out of 10, while giving the Steam Deck a 7 out of 10. This is ridiculous. I mean, come on. I don't know how much Sony is paying behind the scenes to get this type of praise, but if you want it from me, Jim, it'll cost you $10,000 a minute. And as for this video, it should cost you guys 10,000 subscribers. So subscribe, help me break the algorithm. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.
Afrikango sucks ass.
We're breaking the law.